We're going to solve the following problem using our guru. A random sample of 100 car engines has a mean weight of 425 pounds. Construct an 80% confidence interval for the population mean if the standard deviation of the population is 900. So the ultimate thing we want to do here, sort of the command they gave us, was to construct an 80% confidence interval. So in order to do that, we need to kind of organize the information that was given to us in the text of the problem. So it mentions a random sample of 100 car engines. So N equals 100. It has a mean weight. So I'm assuming the weight of that sample, that's the sample mean there, is 425 pounds. Um, and if I read on, they want us to find the confidence interval for the population mean. If the standard deviation of the population, so that means we have sigma here, population standard deviation is 900. So I'm going to head over to, let me remind myself, this is an 80% confidence interval. That's the level of confidence we want. I'm going to head over, before I head over to our guru, I'm going to think a little bit about what I've been given and so that it can help me determine where I'm going. So I've got the sample size and the sample mean, but I did not get a sample standard deviation. I was provided with the population standard deviation here. So that's going to have us, since we were fortunate enough to have that, that's going to have us using the Z statistic or the Z model, the normal model, in order to compute this. So just getting that little extra clue there of population standard deviation is motivating that. So let's head over to our guru with this information. All right. So we're here. You're going to open up the panel Analytics. Will be all closed. We'll open up that panel, click on the drop down, and we're going to head to Mean Inference because we're trying to find a confidence interval for a mean, and we were given one sample, which corresponds to one population. So we get a pop-up box as usual to interact with. I do not have a data set for this. So this first row of data set and variable, I'm going to leave blank. Here, I'm where sample mean is where I put in X bar at 425. Again, leave sample standard deviation blank because we were not provided with it. The population standard deviation was 900, and they had a sample of 100 car engines. So if you pressed, got to come down here, sorry, just told it the particulars. I want to tell it to do a confidence interval that's 80%. So you can edit this to pretty much any level you want. Let's do 80 here, 0.80. And again, we talked about how we're going to have to use the Z statistic here to accomplish this. So we're using the normal model to do this. So these are the things you need to choose. If I hit the preview button right now, I'm just going to show you this because I ran into this myself when I was doing it first. I get a pop-up box telling me there's something wrong. And what that is they need you to label what we are finding them. Even though we don't have data, we still have to put a mean of, and I'll just say engine weights. So you can call this whatever you want. And that's just kind of to help with the output. So you have to put something in there. When you do choose data, which we'll do in our next example, you'll see some of these things populate themselves. You don't have to worry about it. But since we're working from 3 pieces of information, which was the sample size, the sample mean, and the population standard deviation that were just simply given to us, you have to fill that out. So now if we hit preview, we get some output. So let's read over. We have the sample size is 100. So you double check that those were typed in correctly and in the right space as well. And then down here we get what we're really interested in, which is our confidence interval. So we have the lower confidence limit at 309.66 pounds. and the upper confidence limit, which is 540.34 pounds. And it also provides us with the margin of error. So we get lots out of this. I'm going to go back to my other screen and we can sort of write this in. So I'm going to do it with a picture. So I'm going to draw a line because I love drawing an image of this. So there's my confidence interval. The lower confidence limit is over here, and that was 309.66. And the middle of the interval is X bar. It's by design, and that's 425 pounds. That was given. And our upper confidence limit, if we remember from that output earlier, is 540.34. So that's the confidence limit. This is the lower confidence limit. I should say that's the confidence interval, the upper confidence limit. And I kind of want to incorporate one other thing in here before I close the video out, which is the margin of error. So that margin of error comes into play because that's how far we go from what was given at 425 out to the edge. And that was the margin of error was 115 pounds, 0.34 pounds. And we added it, or our guru added that to 425 to arrive at our upper confidence limit. And it subtracted it from 425 to arrive at our lower confidence limit. So just kind of, it's neat to have software do all this for us, but it's also important to kind of understand what it's creating. And I neglected to put this in, but the whole thing is in pounds. I hope this was helpful.